Good morning, everyone. So, today was supposed to be a video about planting trees, and that's still coming. However, I ran into a little snag while I was trying to plant my trees for my video. I'm actually working in the cottage garden. That's where the trees are going to go. As you can see, there's been some progress up there on the coop. The thing is, I went to dig holes. These are big 15-gallon containers with the trees in them. So it's a big hole to dig, first of all, and you're already digging through very hard soil with rocks. And so I had to use the jackhammer. So what I did was I dug the hole fairly deep. And then last night I filled it up with water because I wanted to just kind of soften it up because it was going to make it easier to widen it and deepen it. However, when I woke up this morning and came out here to check on it, it has not drained. So there's probably still a good 6 to 8 inches of water after that many hours. So I will not be able to film a planting trees video today, or the rest of it at least. And I'm not even sure what that means for the rest of this garden at this point, because that's the first big hole I've dug up here. I've moved dirt around. I've used the rototiller. I'll show you that in a second. But if there's a hard pan or something under here and it goes all the way through, then I'm going to have to completely maybe even dismantle what I've done and really get in there deeper, maybe with a tractor or something. So I'll be testing all of that today, digging more holes and seeing if maybe it's just in one spot. Fingers crossed, everybody. I don't want to have to do another whole overhaul here. So what I thought I would do today, because there has been a lot of progress made up here in the last few days, not just on the chicken coop, but actually in the terracing and the actual plantable space. So I'll show you that. I'm also going to show you the seeds and seedlings that I have germinating for all the flowers. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the flowers that are going to be going up in the cottage garden. I'll talk you through what those are. Some of them were covered in our last Friday video, the cool season annuals, but I do have a lot of perennials growing as well. And so let's just do that. I'll take you through the cottage garden, show you the plans, show you what's been done, show you the flowers, and hopefully that'll make for a great video, even though we were sidetracked or sidelined with the tree planting part. All right, so as you can see, this side is not done yet. This is succulents and piles of dead succulents. This side has been cleared up until that point, and then we've got more succulents. So I needed to work a little bit at a time to make things a little bit more doable for me. But these stairs, there will be stairs here, but not made out of that. They will be wider, and they will join the path that goes on up to the front door of the cottage. Our first terrace here that comes down to the driveway is probably going to be a drought-tolerant grass of some sort, like a little lawn. The main reason is because this little curb here, it's not very big, and any water that gets put up here is going to just take all, if there was, flowers here or something, is going to just wash that dirt right down. There's always dirt, wood chips, any kind of mulch that you put up there is going to end up on the driveway, and I don't want that. So I'm going to have a little bit of a skirt here of grass to kind of buffer that. The grass will kind of go up and join the path, and then there'll be a little bit of flowers in front of these logs just to soften those. Now, why am I using logs instead of, the nice stone that I used in the Mediterranean garden? Well, the first reason is because I just spent a bunch on all this stone to finish up the Mediterranean garden. Also, right here in the what will be the formal English garden, I'm going to be using the same type of stone because it's more formal. And so I thought, well, where can I save some money? Obviously, in a 1600s cottage, whoever was the owner of that cottage and lived in that cottage in the 1600s would have used whatever was on hand to not only build the cottage, but certainly to terrace or do whatever he needed to do outside. I'm imagining myself living in the 1600s. I'm just assuming. So we have all these logs from all the trees that were cut down here before we even moved in that we're trying to figure out what to do with. And I thought, well, this is the perfect job for them. Free, easy, and quick. I already have the materials, and they look rustic. And that's the whole point of this cottage garden, is to look rustic, to look natural, to look organic. That's the look I'm going for. Now, in a few years, when I've spent all the money and, kind of gotten everything else around here that needs to be that formal look, then maybe we'll revisit, maybe some cobblestone. I don't know. But right now, it's serving the purpose. I think it's going to look good. Most of it's going to be covered by flowers and plants anyway, so not a big deal. All right, so let's head up and just kind of show you the lay of the land first. So under kind of the debris here, you can see that I've outlined the path that goes all the way up. There's a couple of steps there. I do have the doorway on, which I don't think I did in the last video. And the planting areas are kind of coming into shape. Let's go up here at the top. So this strip right here is going to follow the curve of the path that's up here on top. So this path between the house and the flower beds. It's going to curve around like this and then curve back around like that. And so this strip is going to follow that same curve. And the smaller strip that's here along the path up here by the house, my thought was, if I was living in the 1600s in this cottage, I would have my, maybe edible plants, my medicinal herbs, that type of thing up here close to the house. And so that's what's going to go here. Some edibles, maybe like smaller edibles, lettuces and things like that, and medicinal herbs. Now in this next bed, I want it to be full sun, so there's not going to be any trees covering this area. And this is going to be a lot of flowers, a whole mixture of flowers, perennials, annuals, maybe even some fruit of some sort. And then on the level below that is going to be our tree level, more of our shade plants. So I've got this red bud here. It's going to go in that hole when I figure this out. And then as this curves around, I'll have more trees along that way. Same thing on this side. I have to really figure out how to balance the trees up here, because I don't want the entire cottage hidden from down here where you're viewing this whole area from below. But I wouldn't mind, kind of seeing the cottage between different trees as you kind of move around the space. They also have to be smaller, wispier trees. These two here are red buds that are going to be flanking the path. So one of them grows about 12 feet wide, 12 feet tall. The other 10 feet tall. Or one might be 12 and 12 and 15 and 15. Anyway, they're small trees, and they're easy to be kept pretty much whatever size you want to keep them. So I will be doing a lot of pruning up here throughout the year on the trees. I'm thinking of some flowering cherries over on this side. My idea is, in the springtime, I just want this entire area to be kind of a riot of spring color, mostly pastels. But, the trees in bloom, the tulips, daffodils, bulbs all over the place. So I've already ordered tulips, daffodils, and muscari. I'm thinking possibly some alliums. I will be doing a video on one of our Friday videos in the next month or two, planting spring flowering bulbs, because you do that in the fall. I'm also thinking of a larger evergreen tree kind of to the left of the house in the back. I'm thinking of, there's a couple of cedars I have in mind that don't get too wide, but I want a good mix of sunny spots and shady spots. Right now, we don't have any shade to plant in, and there's a lot of shade flowers that we love. Emily's favorite flower is hydrangeas, and they need shade, especially where we live right now. So as far as the coop is concerned, like I mentioned, I have the doorway on, and I have this little overhang here built. I've got everything ready. All of the walls are up, except for that peak on that end, so that I can begin the stucco work on here. Probably, what's today, Friday? So this coming week, I'll be beginning the stucco work. This here is the run. Let me take you inside. The last time I did the video about the run, there was some concern that I wasn't using heavy duty enough wire for some of the predators that we might have around here. Now, Again, number one, this is a daytime spot for the chickens. There is an automatic door down here that will open at sunrise and close when the sun goes down. And so we don't have that many predators here in the daytime. The biggest predator we have during the daytime are hawks. And so we've definitely got a ceiling on here. I do have at the bottom, so this is what, a little more than waist high. We've got it double wired. We've got the chicken wire, and we've also got hardware cloth. And the hardware cloth goes down into the ground 8 inches and is kind of anchored in a cement curb that goes underground here with the wire going into it. So being that it is a daytime hangout spot for them, not a nighttime spot, and that we've got the wire, the double wire down below, I think we're good. Hey, I might learn something. Maybe I'll be sorry. I don't know. All right, let's head over to my germination station, and we will take a look at what we've got germinating or at least sown for our cottage garden. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through the flowers here. I'll tell you what we're growing. I'll pop a little picture on the screen so you can see it. I'll also put the name. I meant to put the name in last week's video for each of the flowers in text on the screen so you guys could, I totally forgot about it. And you asked about it. This will be done on this video. So I'm trying out some new germination trays. I'm not sure yet if I want to recommend them yet. I will tell you in the spring. So far, they're doing pretty good. All right, so starting over here, we've got Peony Poppies. These are red Peony Poppies here. I've got forget-me-nots, 2 rows of forget-me-nots. I've got Alchemilla Mollis, or Lady's Mantle. Monarda, or Bee Balm. Clarkia, which is doing really well. The name on this Clarkia is Mountain Garland. Right here, we've got some snapdragons. These are ruby dragonfly snapdragons. There's some coming up. Another thing of peony poppies. These are frosted salmon. I had these at the old house and loved them. Shasta Daisies, Madonna is the name of that one. This is Foxglove Carousel Mix. Got some coming up. This is also Foxglove, which is called Dalmatian Peach Hybrid. Don't see any of those yet. Up here, I've got some Roman Chamomile. Have some sprouts on there. Sedum. This is Emperor's Waves Sedum. Is that one right? Yeah, right there's one. This is Achillea, Cerise Queen. I have some coming up there too. Verbascum, Southern Charm. This is a geranium. It's called Vision Violet. And this is a geranium. This is not typically what we think of geraniums are a certain thing, but really those are pelargoniums. These are geraniums, which is perennial. Rudbeckia Cherry Brandy. And this is Nepeta Blue Carpet, or Catmint. This is Salvia Clary Sage. Muhlenbergia Undaunted. That's not coming up yet. Nigella. This is a Jekyll mix. Nigella. That's Love in a Mist. We talked about that in the last video. And this is going to be one of those medicinal herbs. This is Acmella. This is the toothache plant, which has some flowers on it where if you rub it on something, it kind of numbs that area. Oh, these are good. This is what I wanted to come up. These Snapdragons Apple Blossom. I loved the color of those in the picture, so I'm glad we've got some coming up so far. All right, this whole tray is not doing much. We got something happening here in one. Oh, maybe there's a couple things happening. You have to look really close sometimes. Veronica Pink Goblin. This one here. This is Shungkyu. It's a crown daisy. There's one little one coming up. Gomphrena Berries and Cream. And this is Foxglove Excelsior Mix. Now I'm looking closely and I do see that there are some coming up in that row. Gotta look really close sometimes. This is stock. I believe I talked about this one in Friday's video. It is an annual. I do not see anything coming up yet there. Oh, I missed one. Echinacea Powwow, Wild Berry. So this is an echinacea, but a little bit different than kind of the purple we're normally used to seeing. There is a few coming up in this last cell. All right, the last tray, we've got Edelweiss, which always gets the song stuck in my head every time I say that word. And we do have some coming up in each one of the cells. Tiny little plants. This is just your regular Echinacea Purple Coneflower. Nothing there. Oh, yes, there is. Last cell. This is Soapwort. This is an interesting plant that can be used as a soap. It's like an astringent. It will foam when you get it wet. Uh-oh, what's that? My borage leaf just popped off. Okay, borage is the next row. And this is a hardy hibiscus, a hibiscus luna mix. We've got one coming up so far. And then this is some moringa. And there is some coming up. Moringa is a superfood, like super. Like it's one of the most, it's a plant that has one of the highest levels of just about every vitamin you need. It's got protein. You can't grow it everywhere. It is a tropical plant, tropical, subtropical. The leaves actually smell like peanut butter, which is really kind of weird. But the great thing about it is, what I learned is that it grows in one season. It can grow up to 9 feet tall, and then it's a perennial as long as you have the right climate. You can grow it in non-tropical, non-subtropical climates. You will have to grow it as an annual if you get freezes and frosts. But for here, I'm going to use it. Number one, it can be used to feed to livestock. So that can supplement the cow's diet, the chicken's diet. If we get goats, it can supplement their diet. But what I really love it for is because it grows so fast, I'm going to make a hedge of it all along right here, along the edge of the tropical garden, between the tropical garden and the pasture. And what that's going to do, because the trees down there at the fence line are going to take a while to fill in, these trees, most of them are going to be coming out. And so there's not a lot of privacy we have from the neighbors and the road. Well, planted along the edge of this entire patio, we're going to get that privacy, and we're going to get it within one season. So that's kind of exciting. It's a superfood not only for me and my family, but my animals, and it creates a perfect hedge. I mean, that's a win-win-win-win, right? Okay, so we didn't get to do the video I wanted to do today. I hope this was helpful in at least showing you what the plans are for this area, and also giving you some ideas on maybe some flowers that you can include in your garden next year. If you have a mild winter, you can go ahead and get those seeds started right now. If you have a greenhouse, you can still get them started indoors. The only reason to start them now versus spring is you have a head start, and they can start, getting their root system developed over the winter and really start taking off in the spring. Also, with plants like foxglove, they are a biennial. And sometimes, which a biennial means if you plant the seeds this year, they'll build their plant through the first spring, then they'll overwinter, and then they'll bloom the following spring. However, with some, if you plant the seeds in the fall, and then they grow through the winter, they will bloom the first year. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely worth trying. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with a friend, and I'll see you next time.